Saturday, May 13, 1989, and this is, I think, a match that one or two other people may have picked. This is the day that Tranmere clinched promotion from Division 4 to Division 3. Early in the Peter Johnson era. It was a fascinating day because at the start of it, 3 clubs were chasing 2 automatic promotion spots: Tranmere, Crewe, and Scunthorpe. And Tranmere were playing Crewe at Prenton Park. And it was one of those situations, and this is well before people had mobile phones and stuff, so it was one of those situations where you needed to know how results were going elsewhere, so people had little transistor radios plugged to their ears. It was absolutely packed, the ground again. I arrived as a spectator because at the time I was working in sports production on the Echo, so this was my Saturday off, and I was desperate to come to this match. And I arrived about 1:30 and squeezed into the Borough Road paddock as it was then. And I only just got in at 1:30. And I thought, by God, there's a huge crowd. There were huge crowds outside. And as the afternoon wore on, we could see that there was people climbing the pylons on the Bebington Cop and stuff. And there was police and stewards moving around. We soon discovered that there was an announcement made the match would be put back 10 minutes, which had quite a big effect on what followed. It was a lovely sunny afternoon. Ian Muir put Tranmere 1 up after 27 minutes. He got his head to a shot from Mark McCarrick, stuck it in the corner. And then gradually, Crewe Alexandra forced their way back into the game. Nixon made a couple of good saves, and then he saved a penalty from Paul Fishenden on 68 minutes. And people were beginning to chew their nails a bit. And it really wasn't a surprise when a chap called Paul Clayton equalised on 74 minutes. So now everyone was right on the edge of their seats. And Crewe were pressing, and if anyone was going to win the match, it looked like Crewe were going to be, because Tranmere were just defending what they had. And there was 10 minutes left, and one or two people around me shouted, "Scunthorpe have lost! Scunthorpe have lost!" And the next thing you know, that we saw from, I was on the Bebington, on the Borough Road side, you could see all sorts of gestures being made by the 2 managers to the players on the pitch, and all of a sudden this really tense match in which Tranmere were on the back foot suddenly turned into a game of patty cake, where everyone was just passing the ball politely to each other, passing it round. And this went on for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden a Crewe player gets the ball. He's about 40 yards out, and he thinks, "I'll have a shot." Miles in the air, way above the cowshed stand. And Dario Gradi leapt, the Crewe manager, leapt off out of a dugout and berated this player, shaking his fist at him, as if to say, "Do not do that again. Do not antagonise Tranmere, because if Tranmere have a shot and it goes in, we don't get promoted." Because by then, because everybody knew the results, if it stayed at 1-1, Tranmere and Crewe were both going to be promoted. If either team scored, I think it was Crewe that were the ones in danger of dropping down and dropping out of the promotion. So it was a match that changed its complexion completely in the final 10 minutes. I always think it was a bit unfair, to be honest, because Crewe and Tranmere had that little advantage caused by the delay in knowing that the result that was there on 80 minutes that would guarantee them both promotion, they could manufacture and make sure that it was the same at 90 minutes, and that meant they both went up. And great celebrations afterwards, but a very strange afternoon. But you could also tell that the Tranmere were like a steam engine that was building up pace, and you could see that this was a machine that was going to move forward. And nobody who left that ground, as much as they'd had a great celebration of the result, had any doubt that this was only the beginning of the story, and there was lots more to come.
You'd never get it now, because they would make sure that the games kicked off at the same time. For the reason of fairness that you rightly outlined, we've just had the Euros. All the group games kick off on the final game at the same time. Even the second halves have to start at the same time. So even if there's 10 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half in one match, the other games have to kick off at the same time in the interest of fairness. So you just wouldn't have it now, would you?
No, you wouldn't. And quite rightly so too. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever complained about that day, because I think because Scunthorpe had lost, I think that sort of meant that it was a little bit less contentious. But if somebody had got a result that meant that they had a chance, unless if Tranmere or Crewe had scored a winning goal, then I think that would have burned.